You're watching KREX News.
Thank you for watching the KREX News Week in Review. I'm Chad Roderick. Now, the Mesa County Sheriff's Office issued a notice this week regarding the Amanda Overstreet homicide investigation. Now, you may recall that the victim, Amanda Overstreet's head and hands, were found in a freezer at a house on Pinion Avenue back in January of 2024. According to the Mesa County Sheriff's Office, it has come to their attention that incorrect information may have been posted on social media by entities not associated with the Sheriff's Office, nor authorized to speak on behalf of the Sheriff's Office pertaining to a suspect or suspects in this case. Now, they state that Dave Immer is not a suspect in this case. Mr. Immer reports he and his immediate family have been the subjects of ongoing harassment due to this misinformation. This case is still open and under active investigation. And a man is taken into custody this week accused of abusing a puppy that needs emergency medical care. Mesa County deputies responded to reports of animal abuse in progress in the 500 block of Garfield Drive in Grand Junction. Now, authorities say a reporting party witnessed a man throw his dog off a raised porch, hold the dog down, and repeatedly strike it. The animal was then tied up under the porch. Deputies found a 4-month-old puppy with visible injuries to the hind leg and abdomen. Now, deputies took the dog to a veterinarian to receive immediate care. Officials say the female puppy will need emergency surgery to save the leg and correct other internal injuries that are currently considered life-threatening. Now, according to the Mesa County Sheriff's Office, multiple witnesses offered reports on this incident. Authorities say the suspect, identified as Cody Wardell, admitted to striking the animal. He was booked on a misdemeanor charge of cruelty to animals by reckless or criminal negligence, tortures, mutilations, or kills. Officials say without surgery, the puppy is in danger of losing her life. Grand Rivers Humane Society is now coordinating medical care. Members of the public who want to donate towards the dog's life-saving surgery can visit the website grandrivershumane.com/donate. And Mesa County Search and Rescue conducted an operation at the Colorado National Monument to rescue a dog this week. According to the Mesa County Sheriff's Office, the dog and her owner were visiting the National Monument from out of town when they pulled over to take in the view. Her owner opened the door to bring her along, but in her excitement, the pup leapt out of the vehicle and dashed towards the ledge. Unfortunately, she didn't understand the concept of the canyon and found herself falling over 100 feet off the edge before landing on a shelf. Mesa County Search and Rescue's ropes team rescued the scared pup. Fortunately, the dog only had minor injuries. Her owner was extremely thankful and took her to the emergency vet right away. And the fate of Grand Junction's Resource Center has been up in the air for a few months, with the lease at the current location expiring soon. However, City Council unanimously voted to keep the Resource Center open for another 90 days. Alex Rivero has the reaction.
The motion passes 7-0.
Located at 261 Ute Avenue, the Resource Center has provided services to the unhoused community since opening its doors in January 2024. Recently, the debate of the center's location and its closure has been highly contested, with those for and against the closure calling on the city to make a decision.
We collected over 200 signatures in a petition to ask to extend the lease for 90 days.
On Monday, City Council voted to extend the center's closure by 90 days, something advocate for the unhoused Eric Nudekruger has been lobbying for. He also held a State of Homelessness Summit to address issues last week.
Victories are hard to come by with the homeless community, and this extension is definitely a small victory.
Although the Resource Center's lease was supposed to close in a couple of weeks, the facility will gradually begin closing. From April 15th through May 16th, it would move down to 6 days a week with reduced hours from 10 to 4, 6 days a week. Then from May 16th through June 16th, it moves only 3 days a week with operating hours of 10 to 4. And the final period of June 16th to June 30th will only be 1 day a week from 10 to 4.
I'm glad we had unanimity. This is a tough issue, and that we were able to get consensus is big.
Mayor Abe Herman says the extension will give the unhoused more time to adjust. He describes what he saw after the vote on the center extension was taken Monday night.
When the final vote was taken, I mean, we had literal tears in the audience from people who were so relieved with the decision that was made and that this wasn't going to go away immediately.
Herman describes the decision as a compromise.
What we do is compromise. You know, we're not there to make black and white decisions. And the outcome we had, I think, is one that everybody's a little happy with and everybody's a little disappointed with. And that's probably the place that you need to be when you're making decisions for a whole community.
United Way of Mesa County has been an active partner with the Resource Center since December 2024. United Way of Mesa County will continue to offer services as the Resource Center finds a new home.
In the meantime, we'll be housed in an office out of Sunshine Community that can provide the mental and behavioral health services that our community so desperately needs.
In regards to food services offered by United Way, Roderick says they will most likely be offered out of church parking lots and parks. This is a developing story. Check back for updates. Alex Rivero, KREX News.
And in other news, officials with the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment issued a statement about a confirmed measles case in Pueblo. Now, it's the first case in the Centennial State since 2023. Kyle Kawamoto has the details.
Measles is actually the most transmissible infectious disease that we know of. It's much more infectious than other infectious diseases that we see more commonly.
On Monday, the Colorado Department of Health and Environment announced that the Centennial State has spotted its first measles case in Pueblo.
The good news is that this individual has not traveled outside of Pueblo. And so we believe it is limited to Pueblo. But
according to the CDPHE, the case comes from an unvaccinated Colorado adult who traveled to an area of Mexico experiencing an ongoing measles outbreak. Evid says there are no other active cases so far, but there is high lookout for the sickness not to spread. But there are ways to prevent the spread if it were to hit Mesa County.
So the best prevention for measles is the MMR vaccine. It's proven safe and effective. That stands for measles, mumps, and rubella. And we have the MMR vaccine available at the Mesa County Public Health Clinic.
Kathleen tells me if the cases were to hit the western slope, Mesa County Public Health would make an announcement to the community. Kathleen and CDPHE officials say the vaccine is 97% effective and for parents with infant children that are under the age of 5. But if you got your vaccine between 1963 and 67, it is recommended to get another dose, while those born before 1957 are immune.
Because measles is so infectious, we want to make sure that people get the care they need as early as they can, and we want to make sure that we protect anyone else from being exposed.
Rachel says it hasn't been confirmed yet, but it is a possibility that these measles cases are connected to the ones in New Mexico and Texas. CDPHE states people exposed to measles typically develop symptoms 7 to 21 days after exposure, and symptoms include fever, cough, runny nose, red eyes, and a characteristic rash, which usually starts several days later on the face and then spreads to the rest of the body. And the sickness can stay up in the air for 2 hours. Kyle Kawamoto, KREX News.
The Mesa County Sheriff's Office released its 2024 crime statistics, comparing crime in Mesa County to the rest of the state. The Sheriff's Department releases reports like this one to better understand where efforts should be made to reduce crime in the Grand Valley. Alex Rivero has the numbers.
Without the trust of our community and the partnership we have with many of the community members, there's no way we could see the results that we've seen.
A new report released Monday by the Mesa County Sheriff's Office shows crime statistics from 2024, displaying line graphs comparing the county's numbers to those collected from the Colorado Bureau of Investigation representing the state. The report highlights property crimes, violent crimes, and the department's clearance rate. Sheriff Todd Rowell explains overall crime has gone down in Mesa County, but violent crime is up.
Violent crime did creep up a hair year over year from 24 to 25. We did see a little bit of an increase, still way below the 2008 number. But we did see a little bit of an increase in some of our violent crime.
Violent crime has been on the rise since 2022. The increase was attributed to aggravated assault and non-consensual sex offense cases. Property crime, on the other hand, has gone down, hitting its second lowest year on record since 2008, decreasing by 28.89% compared to 38.45% statewide. Mesa County's clearance rate on all cases has been high. The department successfully closed 23.11% of all property crime cases, compared to the state's 14.63%. MCSO also surpassed the state in closing violent crime cases, closing 62.86% compared to the state's 42.96% clearance rate. Rowell says even with the high clearance rate, there is still room for improvement.
I feel like we can do better on fraud.
MCSO has been reaching out to vulnerable community members, educating people on what scams are, and showing them videos and programs to help prevent them from becoming a victim. One area the county has seen a huge decrease is auto theft. Rowell says the high clearance rates have deterred future crimes from being committed.
This year, 2024 stats, we solved those crimes at 4 times the rate the rest of the state did. And we've seen a constant decrease in the number of auto thefts over the last several years.
The decrease is the direct result of MCSO implementing a crime center equipped with cameras across the county.
We have been able to solve crime at a much higher rate.
Rowell wants residents to know that without their help, none of this is possible.
None of this is accomplished without the amazing community relationships.
Well, that does it for the KREX News Week in Review. Be sure to tune back in next week for a full recap of the weekly news.